be one heck of a showdown. We await the arrival of the Kiwi Buzzsaw for what could be the biggest singles match of his career.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is a singles bout, set for one fall. Coming to the ring at this time, from New Zealand, weighing in tonight at 92 kilograms, this is the Kiwi Buzzsaw, Travis Banks.
And Travis Banks, when he first came to WCPW, was fighting on his own and had a modicum of success. He was starting to show some promise as part of the Strong Style Collective, a tag team, but circumstances have dictated he's now back on his own, and this is his chance to really make a statement.
There are a few things in life, Dave Bradshaw, you should never do. Don't eat yellow snow. Don't try and open a Kiwi with a buzzsaw, and don't challenge Travis Banks to a match where he has to put his strong style ability to the test, and Zack Sabre Jr. has just done that.
Well, if anyone can go toe-to-toe with someone as hard-hitting as Travis Banks, it's the man you're about to meet, the man who came so close to becoming our internet champion at Kirby Mania. He is the technical wizard, and he is here at Lights Out.
Dave, this is going to be incredible. The greatest pound-for-pound wrestler in the world, in my opinion.
A huge ovation for Kent's own Zack Sabre Jr., a man who has built up a reputation around the world as quite possibly the greatest professional wrestler on the planet.
This man wrestled at the Hammerlock School of Wrestling from being a teenager around some of the greats, each and every week being ground into the mat, learning the technical style of professional wrestling, and now he is recognised all over the planet as one of the greatest wrestlers there is. And in my opinion, I say pound for pound the best, Dave, because Zack Sabre Jr. has redefined what it means to be a British professional wrestler.
You know, years from now, people are going to talk about this time in British wrestling as a golden era on the independent scene, and as far as British wrestling is concerned, no one has been leading that charge more than Zack Sabre Jr. But let's see what he can do here against the Kiwi Buzzsaw. I am looking forward to this.
Front face lock there. And these guys jockeying for a position here. Amateur style wrestling. And look at this. Zack Sabre Jr. all over Travis Banks. Every time Travis Banks gets an advantage, Sabre just wriggles out. He's like a worm. He's like a worm in trunks.
So quick, so much energy from Sabre Jr. As you say, Banks just couldn't get a hold of him there. He's back to the drawing board for this young man from New Zealand. Banks looking to get 2017 off with a bang.
Yeah, but that bang might be the sound of the shin of Zack Sabre Jr. hitting the face of Travis Banks. Look at that, leg vine there. Into an ankle lock. And Travis Banks smartly there, rolling onto his backside, I'll say it.
And Banks is making sure he doesn't have both of his shoulders down. Side headlock now applied by Sabre. And Banks finds a way out. This is a great back and forth. These two very evenly matched.
And you know what's interesting about this? Travis Banks, in his mind, wants to do for the New Zealand wrestling scene what Zack Sabre Jr. has done for the British wrestling scene. It sounds like a ridiculously tall order. If anyone can do it, Banks can do it.
Oh, going for that. I thought he was going for the cross arm break. Instead he gets a head scissors, does Sabre. Yeah, Banks moved over here just over a year ago. Found that the level of competition in the much quieter New Zealand wrestling scene was something that he kind of outgrown, and he has never looked back since. He's been really making his mark here in Britain.
There is more wrestling in the United Kingdom per square mile than anywhere else in the world. A year in British wrestling is like 5 years on the American Indies or anywhere else, and that's why Banks is here for the best competition on the planet, and he's in the ring with the physical manifestation of it right now in Zack Sabre Jr.
Sabre is always looking for a flailing limb or a way he can twist something, inflict some more pain. Banks got to the bottom rope there to break that one.
It's almost built into the DNA of Zack Sabre Jr. You know, if this guy was driving down the motorway and somebody tried to hitchhike, he'd probably put him in a cross arm breaker. It's just ingrained in his psyche. You see a limb, you take it, you bend it, and if they don't tap, you snap it.
Again, we're back to where we started, really. Banks this time will go try and grab a leg. Dragon screw takedown. Take your knee out of your socket in a hurry. As Banks now mounting Sabre.
And it looks like Banks is going for a cross arm breaker of his own there. And Sabre, you're clutching those hands. And as soon as Banks rolled back, Sabre straight went. You know what's great about Sabre? His strongest defense is an offense. And that's exactly what he does. He reverses things by going straight for another hold.
Yeah, every block is a counter, every reversal. Sabre knows so many, and just so many ways to once again inflict pain, which is what he's doing. Here, if he can link his hands, get that right arm underneath the head of Banks, that could have done some real damage.
And do you know why he is so dangerous, Zack Sabre Jr.? There is no additional or unnecessary weight on his body. And everything he does is about making his opponent fight and struggle. You know, in pro wrestling, having a muscular frame used to be seen as a huge advantage in the 80s. Well, we're not in the 80s anymore. This is 2017, and having a smaller athletic frame means that Zack Sabre Jr. burns his opponent out, and eventually, when they get exhausted, he goes for that cross arm breaker, and it is all over.
Sabre now approaching Banks from a base of sitting down, and again so quick, really is remarkable. Floats over into a pin. Banks, I don't think he even realised his shoulders were down. It was already a 2 count.
And this is the point where Travis Banks begins to realise exactly who he's in the ring with, but it's also the point where he'll start changing the strategy and moulding it and modifying it to find out the weakness in Zack Sabre Jr. And if there's any way that Travis Banks can beat Jr., it's with his strong style striking techniques, which, as good as Sabre is at those, Banks is equally, in my opinion, as dangerous when it comes to strikes.
Well, he's undoubtedly held his own so far. Sabre may be slightly on top in some of these exchanges, but definitely no fatal errors yet from this young Kiwi.
Look at that. Banks went for the arm of Sabre Jr. and Sabre Jr. didn't even have to jump back, he just leant back. You know, when I look at Zack Sabre Jr., he has the professional wrestling grace of Johnny Saint with the high impact striking ability of Rollerball Mark Rocco, and that is a deadly combination.
Yeah, that's high praise indeed to compare him to those two, but it's a comparison that is more than merited. Sabre twisting the head of Travis Banks. Banks sent to the ropes, goes to the leapfrog, comes behind. And Sabre ends up going face first. The cradle from Banks, he's got him caught up, but only for 2.
The magistral cradle there by Travis Banks. And did you notice when he dropped down nice and close and tripped Sabre Jr. And even earlier on, when Sabre Jr. sent Travis Banks past, he didn't just push him on the back, he chopped him on the back. No wasted motion, no wasted energy or movement from Zack Sabre Jr.
Once again, we're back to both men standing. Pretty cautious approach in the opening 5 minutes.
And one thing that you only know if you spent time talking to Zack Sabre Jr. is this guy is highly intelligent. He can sit and discuss anything from politics, vegan lifestyle, string theory. This guy is well versed in so many subjects, and that intelligence is exactly what he implements in his professional wrestling. Dave, he treats it like a game of chess.
Sabre And look at the counters, both of these men, again and again and again, on Sabre, twisting round on Travis Banks. What an exchange that was. My goodness.
And Travis Banks is going to have to find the Achilles heel of Zack Sabre Jr. if he wants to change his fortunes here.
What is that though? How do you find that?
The advantage that Travis Banks has here, in my opinion, is an increase in strength and sheer hunger and less wear and tear on his body. You know, he might not show it, but Zack Sabre Jr. has taken a battering over his career, not just in the United Kingdom, but also in Japan. So Travis Banks needs to dig in deep, channel the hunger that took him from New Zealand to an island called Great Britain, and try and use that to score a win.
Sabre, look at this, with his arms behind his back, allowing Banks to hit those chops. And again, wow, this is mind games. This might not be the best idea, because I tell you, Banks can chop.
Look at that uppercut by Zack Sabre Jr. Oh, twist the neck again, that's just vicious. It's not just vicious, it's actually really dangerous to the vertebrae.
And this time he's holding on with the feet there. This is a submission hold at this point. And once again, Banks, the only way out there really was to go to the ropes. And Banks is struggling now a little bit to keep up with Sabre. Goodness me, look at that. Knocked him backwards with the power of that uppercut.
Oh, forearm straight in the jaw. I mean, he caught all of the elbow into the jaw. Oh my God.
An uppercut again from Sabre.
Zack Sabre Jr.'s pain threshold is something else.
You know, I do wonder though if this is something of a mistake from Sabre Jr., because the one area where Banks is certainly evenly matched with him is in striking. So why go there? Why not focus on the things that you know you can do better?
Oh, single leg crab here with a foot on the head. And I'll answer your question, Dave. Oh, look at that.
Basically forcing Banks to do a headstand with his leg bent backwards in that half crab. Oh my God.
Because in a game of chess, to answer your question, Dave, psychology and breaking down your opponent mentally is really important. Zack Sabre Jr. has proven that when it comes to catch-as-catch-can style wrestling, he is superior to Banks. If he can prove to Banks that he is equal when it comes to chopping, Banks' mental defences begin to break down and he becomes vulnerable, and those body parts become even more exposed, ready for something like the cross-arm breaker.
Sabre again challenging Banks for those chops.
Look at that. Sabre's, he just shrugged it off like it was nothing.
Well, yeah, he didn't
maybe not that
time.
one. Wow. Oh.
And that's the thing with this strategy, right? Oh my, it only works if you can withstand it. I'm not sure anyone can withstand those chops or that kick.
Dave, is this like rope-a-dope? Muhammad Ali and George Foreman in Zaire. Is that what he's doing? Hoping that Travis Banks burns himself out.
Sabre, look at him linking the arms. Those shoulder blades pushed backwards. Sabre with all of his body weight on the upper back of Banks goes for a cover.
In the history of pro wrestling, Dave, the people who are most successful and remember the longest are those who dare to change the game. And Zack Sabre Jr. has dared to change the game. And when you watch this contest, it's not like watching pro wrestling, it's like watching MMA.
Sabre with one of those trademark kicks, and Banks now playing some mind games of his own, insisting that he can handle those kicks.
And Travis Banks, give him all the credit in the world, because this guy just will not be beat.
Oh, Banks this time grabs the leg. He lured in Sabre and takes him down, and now Banks will pick up the pace.
Wow, turn him inside out with that, Dave.
Yeah, into the jaw with that drop kick goes Banks. And Banks trying to get an advantage through Sabre's determination to continue that game of one-upmanship. There's a cannonball from the Kiwi Buzzsaw.
And now Travis Banks is showing this audience and showing his opponent that he knows exactly what it's going to take to beat Sabre Jr.
go for a suplex maybe. Instead, Sabre goes behind, sweeps the legs. He'll try for a pin. He's going to bridge backwards. Look at that from Sabre, but it was not enough. Just a 2 count.
It's almost like he slows down time. In a single 3 count, this guy can bridge back, cross his arms, grab the legs of his opponent. It's like watching a Shaolin monk wrestle. Oh! Whoa, went for that kick.
Banks, kick to the jaw. A kick to the jaw, and Sabre's out. Sabre's out.
Oh, Dave, that could be it. It's. Oh, no.
Oh, no,
no way.
No way.
Oh.
Sabre somehow countering. Or is he? Banks is gonna. Look at the strength. Look at the strength for Travis Banks.
Oh, we've got ourselves a showdown now, Dave.
This is the kind of performance that can make a career for Travis Banks.
And it's the kind of performance that you're only going to see on What Culture Extra.
Banks knows that he has Sabre Jr. reeling here. Banks will go to the middle rope for the high knee, nobody home, rolls through, and Sabre will try into the cross arm breaker.
He's got it.
Cross arm breaker, and Banks counters.
Straight off his shoulders. Straight off his shoulders went Banks. But Sabre Jr. still has it.
Yeah, Banks, as long as he's on his knees.
He's in the ropes.
He's in the ropes now. Yeah, it was smart from Banks. As soon as he got onto all fours there, he gained a lot of leverage. It stopped Sabre Jr. from cinching in on that cross arm breaker.
And this crowd, well behind Zack Sabre Jr. But my feeling is, Dave, that their respect for Travis Banks has grown exponentially just in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's incredible what Banks has been able to do to Sabre in the last few moments here, but Sabre not done yet.
He's got it locked in. The octopus.
And that octopus hold, and look at Sabre linking his own hands behind his back and now using his elbow to dig into the ribs of Banks.
Oh, double leg Nelson sunset flip.
Oh, Banks counters though. That's counters, and now Sabre back and forth between these two. It's exhausting to watch as Sabre gets a 2, and finally they break it up. What a match!
My God. And Dave, we're not even halfway through. Lights out. My lights will be out by the end of this one. It's exhausting just to watch.
So much more coming up. World title on the line, internet title on the line. That boiler room brawl, the 3rd match in a potential best of 7 between Rampage and the Primate. And Sabre, again slowing things down here. Uppercut to the jaw of Banks.
And a big forearm back from Banks.
So he's giving as good as he gets, isn't he, Banks?
But look at the legs of Banks, rubbery. It's almost like his kneecaps have been replaced by Haribo. And this is where being the lighter man in this contest will pay dividends for Zack Sabre Jr.
Both of these two are exhausted. Can you blame them?
But cardiovascular conditioning is going to become such a factor at this stage in the showdown. And I'm calling it a showdown, not just a contest, because these two have switched it to another level. And I'm not talking about Dane Bowers.
Good. That would be irrelevant. Another forearm, and these two have thrown the kitchen sink at each other here in Manchester.
If you threw the kitchen sink at Zack Sabre Jr., he'd put one of the taps in an armbar.
Uppercut after uppercut from Sabre, but Banks with that spinning kick. And Banks follows Sabre to the ropes.
But Sabre comes back, meets him midway across the ring with a high cross. Oh, God, I was going to say a European uppercut, but it was a huge kick by Banks. Okay, well, keep your eye on him, Dave.
Banks putting his body on the line to do some more damage, and I think he did, because Sabre Jr., his lower back bent over the top of that crowd barrier.
Dave, I'm sweating. The heat in this building has gone to the next level. Oh,
goodness me.
Oh, my God.
How did he get him? How did he get that?
But he's not locked it in yet, Dave. Travis Banks fighting with all he's got. And he needs to, because not only could he lose.
Shoulders down, got the shoulders down.
Oh, God.
Banks trying to turn this into a pin. And Banks maybe going to try and use his strength here, and he does. Banks,
God,
sit down powerbomb. Goodness me. Banks, with that low vertical base, was able to find the power in his arms to lift Sabre Jr. high into the air. Well, the crowd are chanting, "This is awesome," and they are 100% correct.
This is past awesome, Dave. This is something else. This is WCPW Lights Out.
Referee checking on both men. Neither man is going to give this up at this point. Even if their arm was falling off, I think they wouldn't give up now.
I was going to say it's called Lights Out, but ironically, my lights have never been more on. I'm dripping in sweat. My eyes are wide open. These guys are... I'm shocked. Oh.
Big chop from Banks, and Sabre comes back up.
Oh, God.
Look at these slaps. They are on their knees, slapping each other in the middle of the ring.
It's Travis Banks. Oh, my God. I was going to say, if he comes back from that, Dave, he's a machine. Oh.
German suplex on Sabre Jr. from Banks.
Up to the second, comes back, and huge call. Oh, he's out.
Sabre might be out. Banks
wow.
with the biggest win of his career.
Oh, he did it.
He got him. Did he get him? He got him.
Oh, my God.
He got him. I can't believe what I'm seeing! I can't believe what I'm seeing! Travis Banks has defeated Zack Sabre Jr.
Sometimes in your life, Dave Bradshaw, to get what you truly want, you have to gamble and risk everything you have just to get a seat at the big table. And once you're at that table, you have to give of your soul to prove that you belong. And tonight, that table is a WCPW ring. And right here, right now, Travis Banks has proved more than anything else ever could that he belongs.
He travelled halfway around the world to be a part of British wrestling. And on this night in Manchester, Travis Banks has finally, truly arrived.
That is a world-shocking performance. Talk about Holly Holm beating Ronda Rousey or Amanda Nunes beating Ronda Rousey. The Undertaker's streak ending. Well, one of the biggest shocks in WCPW thus far will go down in the history books as Travis Banks beating Zack Sabre Jr. in Manchester, exclusively here on What Culture Extra. My God, what a contest.
An early contender for match of the year between Zack Sabre Jr. and the man who just beat him. Yes, you heard me right. Beat him, Travis Banks. Harry's gonna have to tap to his own move again.
The ring bell just sounded.
Oh, the match is still going. The match is still going. There's a right into the back of the head and Zack's got the leg. Banks got the leg. Oh, God. Banks. Travis Banks is the internet champion. Oh, come on.
I knew I needed to wrestle Walter because I know that you know I need to beat Walter.
Look at the face of Mackenzie.
Mackenzie clearly feels she's been disrespected by Sammy Ghetto. Mackenzie strikes the ref.
And Ray don't know that's going to hurt Millie Mackenzie a fine.
Oh, Kaylee Ray with a kick. Ray's going to try and throw Mackenzie out. Mackenzie counters German suplex on Kaylee Ray.
He's felt that before.
Mark Haskins! Mark Haskins attacking his former Team IPW teammate out of nowhere. Wait, Havoc's coming back. Havoc's coming back.
What in the name of God is going on here?
Havoc and Haskins.
Just because I'm done with you as a tag partner doesn't mean I'm done with someone I can trust.
Listen to this lineup. Rampage, Primate, Ligero, Hendry, Amin, Gabriel Kidd, and the Fallen Angel, Christopher Daniels. One of those 7 will leave lights out in Leeds as the holder of the Magnificent 7 briefcase.